Hello and welcome to Matt Houlihan's podcast. It's been a while since I've spoken, and again, it's the summer. A lot of things have been going on. This episode, I'd like to talk about people. In my humble 35 years of existence on the earth, a lot of changes have been happening socially and economically and politically, geopolitically, environmentally. And it's occurred to me, certainly in the last 10 to 20 years, the intensity of tensions and inequalities and resentments has grown exponentially. There's so much anger, and public discourse, private discourse, seems more frenetic and hysterical than it has in a long time. I think part of that is due to the way governments have refused to answer to their populations, the way in which food has risen in expense, the way in which the economic recession of 2008 has hit so many people across the world, and in the wars that have constantly perverted everything, I think, in terms of international relationships and in terms of our sense of security at home. And I feel as though the consequence has been people are more fearful. The way the media has operated has ramped up paranoia and distrust and dislike of the other to a fever pitch. In politics, with Brexit and Trump and what's happening in Europe with the far right, I feel as though there's been a real resurgence of reaction to the centre ground, to business as usual, which has pushed people to two opposite camps outside of the centrist mantra, which are more progressive left and more reactionary right. And it's really sad because it means that real debate, discussion, discovery, learning through discussion has declined in favour of accusation, hysteria. And obviously technology and the internet and social media have added to this. The sense of alternative truths which compete for airtime. And it's really sad. And I feel as though people can be really troublesome. It sounds funny, but Jean-Paul Sartre famously said, hell is other people. And I remember feeling, but heaven is also other people. Relationships, friendships are an art form. However, it's been really difficult with a lot of people this past year. In terms of places I've lived and things like that, the sense of snobbery, suspicion, the sense of people just not wanting to be in each other's space. I'm generalising here. I think living in London, it doesn't help because it's such a big city and there are so many people crammed together in one place. Everybody is trying to protect their own privacy, their own sanity, their own physical needs and shelter and finances. What is to become of this? There has to be a watershed moment, a breaking point where this build-up results in some change. I witnessed on Twitter somebody just sharing with the comment, she didn't back down or she kept her word. Some woman violently assaulting another woman on a train. And this was just shared casually on social media. The gist of the comments, the gist of the caption was, this woman wasn't joking, she wasn't pretending that she was going to beat this other woman up. She kept to her word. It's incredible that that kind of bravado, the sense of dignity in that concept is that this woman said that she was going to use her fists in this argument that escalated, and she kept to it, and that's something to be admired. Not the fact that it's antisocial behaviour in the sense that other people are on the train, they just want to get to their destination in peace. Not in the sense that this other person who was provoking this woman just needed to be ignored and let cool down on their own. None of that. And I don't think that that's just something amongst anyone who uses public transport. I think it's reflected everywhere. The best quote I heard was, "A fish rots from the head down." And I think that's true. The casualness of aggression has only gotten worse throughout the media, throughout the news, throughout leadership. The bravado. So many things have gotten better over the decades, but the basic ego sense of not backing down, of maintaining a domineering position, of defending your idea as though it were your life, has resulted in this horrendous sense of fragility in people's cool, in people's ability to just chill, to acknowledge that somebody else has got things going on in their life and they are having a bad day, and just walking away. People mock the idea of telling a child at school, if somebody's bullying them, ignore them or take it to your teacher if it gets worse. People really seem to not like that. They want to escalate. They want their child to be viewed socially by their peers as someone not to be messed with. And I recognize why that is appealing. But what it means is that society breaks down, is that there aren't social rules of regulating behavior, and that the infrastructure and other people's comfort, other people's safety, other people's peace is irrelevant. And I don't think that's something that just applies to South London. I think it's worldwide. And it's very concerning because it means that the children who will be the leaders of the future are laughing at video clips of violence, are laughing at accidents, are able to see the most puerile, degrading forms of violence online, possibly in their street, and the consequences of that are not resulting in people changing their behavior. We like to celebrate the fact that we live in a free society, but it's not that free. And we have issues with elites doing what they want with impunity. That trickles down. Even if the wealth doesn't trickle down, behavior trickles down. Are we allowing violence, intolerance, anger, a loss of civility and basic respect in public spaces to usurp our behaviour without even noticing it? And social media is like a canary in the coal mine in that sense. It's an early indicator. If we permit and celebrate and find entertaining acts of violence, acts of dominance and rudeness as a form of entertainment literally happening on our streets, and celebrating it on video and mobile phone footage, what are we becoming? My point to you is, this isn't a small matter. This isn't something flippant or irrelevant. It's the basis of public language, of how we interact. It has a large knock-on effect. I recently experienced a close family member receiving passive aggression because they are renting in a place where everyone else owns. To witness that goes to show every action has a consequence. Every subconscious action, everything. People communicate not just in what they say or what they physically do. People leak how they feel and what they think. And we have neglected that as a community. We have allowed the fish to rot. The question is what we do now. All right, let me know what you think. Perhaps that's a dark contribution, but I think it's important to put that out there and to see what people think of the values of civility. Not only civility, but good intention. Much love to all.